Page 20, this is called Allegro. Well, it's actually speed, but you'll notice it's from a Sonatina in G major by Haydn. Well, like it's got one sharp, it's in G major. Does it make sense? Make sure you can do the scale for G major and E minor, it's got one scale. The point is, when you get into sonatas and sonatinas and they have multiple movements, a lot of times we identify them by the tempo. So this is Allegro. Well, that simply means this is an Allegro movement in this sonatina. Now, it doesn't mean it's the only Allegro movement in the sonatina. There could be others, but generally we just call it, or you can say first movement or second movement or whatever, but Allegro's fine. We can deal with that. Yeah, that looks ugly. You got all these 16th notes running all over everywhere going wild. But however, if you look at the time signature, it's in 3/8 time. So we're going to tame that down a little bit. We're counting eighth notes. 1, 2. So a 16th note, that's same as 2 16th notes in an eighth note. I'll get there. Give me a moment. It's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. That's all it is. So in the right hand first, let's just check this. We have this broken chord. Look at these first 4 notes. You hear, here, here, and here. First 4. That is the G chord, a broken chord. That's the fingering for it. 4th finger, not 3rd. And that's all. That's it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Reach up. Connect all of this together except for the rest. And then they want you to come down. Then 2. And then 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and then reach just 1 and 2 and 3 and. Page 21, second line. You're down here. You just lift. Just lift up. Now they're saying second finger. Well, I just played second finger. If you want, you can use 3rd finger instead. Or you can use 2nd finger again. I don't know. You gotta lift up for the phrase. It's just I don't like using the same finger twice like that. So I'm gonna do that here. Or I'll substitute. After I play the note at the end of the first line here, I'll substitute and put the thumb on it. Then I can cross over. I mean, that note is 3 beats long. I got time here and then here. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and. Third line, second measure. Here, it's a chord. It's a broken chord. You'll learn to recognize these in music as time goes on. Oh, I know that chord. I can do that. It's just a broken chord. 1. Then go on. Thumb. Here, and then 2, 3. Again, I'm transferring weight from note to note when I do this, and it helps me to do that. Don't hold the hand still and try and use fingers. Transfer the weight. Rock the hand a little bit. I'm exaggerating so you can see it better. It's actually a very little motion. But in that last measure, here. Come back to that position for that chord. Left hand. Well, treble clef. You're up here. Just again, I'm rocking the hand back and forth. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and second line. Thumb goes up. Then 2, 5. Now they say 2. That's too much of a stretch for me. I got to use 5 here, and then scrunch up and use 1. That's fine, I can do that. So the first line on page 21, you're here. I do 5, forward 2, and then scratch up and use thumb. You can actually use 2nd finger too if you'd like. I can still connect them, and then you come up down, or come up to go down. That made no sense, but you'll hopefully figure it out. Second line on page 21, you're here. Now you finish the first line here. You here. A little awkward, but okay, we can do that. Lift up and move. It's a new section of the piece. We would see double bars there at the end of that first line, except the repeat sign's covering them up. That's a new section here, and that's a dotted quarter note. You're gonna hold it down for the whole measures. Hold it down as you play the C, and then here, and again, hold it down in the second measure there. octaves, 2. Last line there on page 21, second measure, the F sharp. You can do 5-1 if you want. I do 4-1 typically on black keys. Different teachers teach different things. Franz Liszt was a big believer in using the fourth finger when you played black key octaves. So, but not all teachers do that. So I'll leave that between you and your teacher. If you have little hands, you may not have a choice. You have to use 5 and 1 because you can't reach it with 4 and 1. All right. Put the heads together, and again, I'm connecting everything as best I can here. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Rest, rest. I don't want to spoon feed it to you. Just go through really, really slowly on this and just work this out. And then go back through and get rid of the hesitations because it has to be a steady beat. It can be really slow. That's okay, but it's got to be a steady beat, so get rid of any hesitations anywhere. As far as articulation, all they've done is added a few phrase marks. And these others, well, this gets into interpreting and the style of the time and the way people played at the time. It's not the same as it is today. Back when Haydn was kicking and screaming, a lot of times the standard way of doing it, and it was kind of changing in this time period, was on these notes, and they don't give you any phrasing or anything. The idea was to separate them just slightly. So some of the slurs they do. So forth. I'll leave that up to you and your teachers to whether you do that or not. Now on these 16th notes, just connect those. So forth. Gets a little tricky on page 21 in the second and third lines when you have multiple voices, because we got 2 voices in the left hand. And they're slurred. Can you, if your hand's big enough, use second finger. That way you can connect that voice. If not, then you gotta use thumb again. But connect the others. And the right hand, of course, is connected. To kind of separate them here, that comes in handy. So it's like you were doing here, same thing, because that's really the melody, believe it or not. This other is just fluff going on. You don't need to take it that fast. I'm just trying to give you an idea of the slurring and what you can do with the articulation. Dynamic wise, finally they give you 1, and that's good. That's to the melody, right? It starts with the. That's moderately soft. These at 16th notes got to be very soft. Keep them in the background. And you're staying that way pretty much until the top of 21. You come up. Now here, when they do this kind of a thing, the way this is done, it's hard to tell really where the melody is. It's like there's actually 2 different melodies. Now this thing, that's not melody. But at the top of page 21, it's like 2 melodies going on. So there I'd kind of play both hands the same loudness. Here, swell up, that's your target. Then you get back down. And again, I think throughout all of page 21, I'd treat both hands pretty much as melody. Play them the same loudness. And it ends loud here. You know, the last measure, the third line on page 20, that's loud. Okay, but then you DC back to the beginning here, and you're back to moderately soft. So forth. There's no pedal on this, of course. I think this was written more for harpsichord, at least it sounds to me like it was. Speed-wise, well, Allegro, but that's the flow of the piece. To me, that's about what it would be, but it has to be accurate. So don't go faster than what you can do accurately. Find the hardest part, probably in the second and third line on page 21. How fast can you play that accurately? And that's how fast you can take the piece. Now, there is a repeat sign at the end of the first line on page 21. That means you're going to repeat back to the beginning and play that part again. Now, when you do the DC at the bottom of page 21, you go back to the beginning again. You go back, the finesse at the end, where the repeat sign is on page 21, I would not repeat it again. Just go through and play that one time and you're done. Different people, some people would repeat it again, but I see no point. Oh, by the way, the legato there at the beginning underneath the staff means connected. In this left hand, play these connected. But it's not the whole thing. Otherwise, they'd put the legato in the middle, where the MP is. No, it's underneath the bottom staff, so it's the 16th notes they're telling you to play legato. So in my opinion, anywhere time you're getting 16th notes in this piece, play them legato. Yeah. In either hand, wherever they're at. Now, in my opinion, it doesn't say anything, but in my opinion, after you do the DC and you're going to the fine, if you want to slow down a little bit, since it's the end, I see nothing wrong with it. Again, let's get back to interpretation, different ways. They don't tell you everything in the music, they give you general guides. So if you want to slow down a little bit at the end, that's fine with me. Now, we have a couple of hand moves we got to deal with. See, at the end of the first line on page 21, you're here. You repeat, you got to go to here. There's no rest or anything, and both hands are moving, so you may have to practice this. You're going from here to here. You're going from here to here. Here to here. You may have to practice that. We do practice hand moves when we need to, so it's here. But don't mess up the beat. The beat has to be a steady beat. Now, if you go on to the second line, you're here. You're going to here. Well, this is just going down a little. So that's just not bad. This has to go to here. So you may have to practice that move. So forth. And then at the end, the DC at the bottom, you're here. Now you get a rest in the left hand. And I suggest you get that left hand up there immediately. Just hover over it and get it ready to go here. Because the right hand doesn't have a rest. It's got to go here. You got to go from here to here. So if you can get the left hand up there, it just helps. Otherwise, you got to move both hands here. And good luck with that. So you'll work out these hand movements on your own, slowly at first and gradually speed them up, but the beat has to be a steady beat, whatever speed you're going.